Buying a car when you're broke feels risky, and the last thing you want is to make the wrong choice. But what if you could get a car for under $6,500 that runs flawlessly for years and costs almost nothing to maintain? Backed by real-world data and expert reviews, these are the 20 best cheap cars to buy when you're broke. At number 20, we've got the 2008 to 2015 Scion XB. Basically a Toyota Corolla Matrix, dressed in a giant cube. Underneath the boxy looks, it's all classic Toyota. Same tough DNA, just with van-level cargo space and headroom that puts small SUVs to shame. Early models get the Camry's 2.4L engine, later ones a thriftier 2.5L, but both run timing chains, not belts, and regularly sail past 200,000 miles with basic maintenance. Keeping one on the road costs peanuts too. Real-world annual upkeep averages about $386, and because it borrows parts straight from the Corolla and Camry bins, everything from brake pads to entire transmissions is cheap and everywhere. Insurance? Reasonable. It's classified as a wagon with solid crash scores. And the best part? There's no turbo, no all-wheel drive, no fussy tech to fail. The 4-speed auto might seem ancient, but it's bulletproof. Small catch, they sip a little oil, top it up once in a while and keep rolling. At number 19, we've got the 2009 to 2014 Acura TSX. Basically a Japanese Accord in a designer suit. You get classic Honda reliability with extra polish. The 2.4-liter K24 engine, with its timing chain and balance shafts, is famous for shrugging off 200,000-plus miles without drama. Pair it with a smooth 5-speed auto or a 6-speed manual, and you've got a drivetrain ranked second among luxury midsizers for dependability, while costing just $415 a year to maintain. Parts? Easy. Brakes? Filters? Coil packs. Most are shared with Civics and Accords, so they're cheap and everywhere. Depreciation does you a favor too. Clean TSX often drift below $6,500, yet you still get leather, heated seats, and a 360-watt stereo. Plus, Honda engineered the chassis to handle sporty driving, so if you drive it gently, it just lasts even longer. Only real flaw? Rear bushings wear out early, but they're a cheap press-in fix. No big deal. Have you ever met a car that looks disposable and then hits 200K? Watch out for the next one. At number 18, meet the 2012 to 2016 Chevrolet Sonic, the rare budget car that's both cheap and proudly built in the USA. Assembled at GM's Orion plant, the Sonic punches way above its weight. It scored an 8.7 out of 10 for reliability, and with the basic 1.8L engine and 5-speed manual, it easily clears 150,000 miles, sometimes even when abused by taxis. Highway driving? No problem. That engine just loafs along, sipping gas at around 35 mpg without the high RPM thrashing that kills smaller rivals. Annual maintenance stays manageable at around $536. And because the Sonic sold worldwide as the Aveo, parts are dirt cheap and everywhere, from full engines to brake kits. Simplicity is the magic here. Coil-on plug ignition, a 100K mile timing belt window, and very few fancy electronics to brake. But you still get modern touches. Bluetooth and 10 airbags came standard, so you're not rolling around in a tin can. Students especially love these for the looks and mileage, which is why high-mile Sonics don't stay on the market long. One heads up, early water pump leaks are common, but they're a cheap, easy driveway fix. At number 17, we've got the 2009 to 2010 Pontiac Vibe, a Toyota Corolla in disguise. Seriously, ignore the Pontiac badge. Underneath, it's pure Toyota, the same 1.8L 2ZR engine from the Corolla and Matrix, built to cruise past 200,000 miles without breaking a sweat. Statistically, 7.8% of Vibes hit 250,000 miles, almost identical to the Corolla. But because Pontiac's gone, you can scoop one up for way less cash. Everything mechanical, from filters to control modules, is Toyota grade. Parts cost Camry money, any Toyota mechanic can work on it, and real-world owners report maintenance costs around the mid-300s per year. Plus, you'll still get 30+ mpg on the highway while hauling bikes, moving boxes, or a full Costco run thanks to the tall roof hatch design. Some AWD models even steal Toyota's simple viscous setup for snow, but most people grab the lighter FWD versions for better economy. Savvy buyers know this trick, which is why clean, high-mile vibes disappear fast, especially among students, delivery drivers, and budget families hunting stealth Toyota reliability. Only real flaw? A few early ECM glitches. Almost always fixed by now. Just drive. Before we move on, subscribe, unless you enjoy overpaying for rust on wheels. We're here to help you dodge the worst and find the few gems left. Ex-police Impalas often show up with 180,000 miles, still running the original 3.5L or 3.9L V6, direct descendants of GM's bulletproof 3800 series, known for casually pushing past 200,000 miles. Simplicity keeps them alive. Multi-port fuel injection, a chain-driven engine, and the rock-solid 4T65E 4-speed automatic. Plus, the heavy-duty suspension tuning makes tires and brakes last longer than you'd expect. Annual upkeep averages about $568. And because GM cranked these out for 13 straight years, parts are dirt cheap and everywhere. Depreciation absolutely wrecked them in a good way. A 2011 Impala that once sold for $25,000 now lists for under $6,000, yet still offers a giant trunk, 6-passenger seating on some trims, remote start, and a relaxed 28 mpg highway. Downsides? Cheap cabin plastics love to rattle, but hey, they don't stop the engine from going another 100,000. Now picture a car so thrifty it makes gas stations and mechanics equally lonely. That's exactly where we're headed next. At number 15, we've got the 2012 to 2017 Kia Rio. And don't be fooled by that bargain badge. This little car quietly ranked 4th in an IC Cars study of 10-year-old vehicles with the most life left, with a surprising number cruising past 150,000 miles on the original Gamma 1.6 engine. That engine is pure budget genius. A timing chain, no turbo, and no direct injection until 2016. Plus, it only takes 3.5 quarts of oil per change. Maintenance? You'll spend about $434 a year, costing less to service than many lawn tractors. With the same drivetrain powering half the Hyundai Kia lineup, parts are everywhere. Fuel bills remain low too. Real-world drivers report low 30s mpg on 14-inch tires that cost less than a dinner outing. Minimalist engineering shines here. Coil-on-plug ignition, basic 4- or 6-speed transmissions, and an uncomplicated electrical system that rarely gives trouble. Thanks to high rental fleet numbers, scrapyards overflow with donor panels and trim, and a clean, high-mileage Rio still flies off the lot for commuters just needing dependable A to B transport. Sure, the cabin plastics scratch easily, but that's hardly mission-critical for budget owners. At number 14, we've got the 2011 to 2014 Volkswagen Jetta, the rare modern VW that's actually built to last. Volkswagen stripped this US spec Jetta back to basics, and it paid off. The 2.5L 5-cylinder was meant for bigger cars, so in the lighter Jetta, it just cruises. 200,000-mile examples are common, and oil analysis shows minimal engine wear. Reliability scores sit at 4 out of 5. Annual upkeep averages $609. And thanks to brutal depreciation, a clean 2014 model with airbags, Bluetooth, and heated seats often lists for under $6,500. Civic money for a newer car. Mechanically, it's simple where it counts. A durable Aisin 6-speed automatic and a tough rear torsion beam suspension. Parts are everywhere because the Jetta's been VW's bestseller in the US for years, and an active enthusiast community makes DIY repairs cheap and easy. Minor flaw? Door wiring harnesses can chafe, but it's a 10-minute fix and you're good to go. If you've ever wanted a car that literally tells you how to fix it, the next one might be it. At number 13, we've got the 2008 to 2011 Ford Focus, the sweet spot before Ford overcomplicated things. You get a simple 2.0L Duratec, a 4-speed auto or 5-speed stick, and a lifetime timing chain. No fancy tech, just reliability. Over 60% of these sail past 150,000 miles with basic fluid changes. Parts? Everywhere. The Focus shares its bones with the Mazda III and Volvo C30, so you can grab a Riemann alternator or fuel pump for under $50. Annual upkeep sits around $569, and consumables stay cheap. $20 oil changes, $30 brake pads, and 35 mpg highway. It's wrench-friendly too. Spark plugs, starters, everything's easy to reach. And a huge online community has step-by-step guides for every fix. Thanks to heavy depreciation, clean sedans often list under $5,000, giving broke buyers modern crash safety and great fuel economy without breaking the bank. At number 12, we've got the 2011 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra, the car where Hyundai finally nailed real durability. The 1.8L new engine ditched timing belts, paired with a smooth 6-speed, and suddenly Elantras started showing up with 170,000 plus miles and no major powertrain drama. Annual upkeep runs around $452, and even dealer-sourced parts like alternators rarely crack $100. Since it shares bones with the Fort and Veloster, parts are cheap and everywhere, and scrapyards are loaded with spares. Depreciation hit the price, not the car. A clean 2013 Elantra often costs less than a new smartphone, yet brings Bluetooth, heated seats, 5-star crash scores, and a real-world 35 mpg on regular gas. Lightweight saves tires and brakes too, so consumables stretch further. Plus, Hyundai's 10-year warranty covered any early hiccups long ago. Only flaw? Some later new engines sip a little oil if pushed. Just check it monthly and drive on. Now what if I told you the next car still runs like new, by doing absolutely nothing new? At number 11, we've got the 2009 to 2012 Nissan Versa, the ultimate budget workhorse. Mechanical minimalism is its secret weapon. The 1.6L HR16DE engine, shared with everything from taxis to industrial pumps, uses a timing chain and spins lazy at low RPMs, helping over 60% of these sedans cruise past 150,000 miles with just fluids and filters. Skip the early CVT hatchbacks, and you get a rock-solid 4-speed auto or 5-speed manual, originally tough enough for small trucks. Failures? Almost unheard of. Real-world upkeep averages about $456 a year, and parts are absolutely everywhere, thanks to global production under names like Tita. It sips 30-plus mpg on regular gas, tires cost next to nothing, and insurance stays low with strong crash scores. Yeah, manual windows and crank seats feel primitive, but that lack of tech, it's exactly why the Versa just keeps starting when others don't. At number 10, we've got the 2008 to 2011 Toyota Yurus, basically the mechanical cockroach of hatchbacks. Built in Japan around the tough 1.5L 1NZ FE engine, the same block used in early Priuses, the Yurus runs a timing chain, sips 4 quarts of oil, and shrugs off 40 mpg highway runs like it's nothing. 10-year data shows about 90% still in service, and taxi fleets easily push them past 250,000 miles without major repairs. Annual upkeep averages just $333, helped by 14-inch tires cheaper than a pizza, and shared parts with Echo and Scion models littering every junkyard. Simplicity is the whole strategy. No turbo, no direct injection, a 4-speed auto or 5-speed stick, and a torsion beam rear that tanks pothole seasons like a champ. DIYers love it too. Spark plugs, and even clutch jobs are driveway easy. High-mile Yaruses still fetch solid resale because broke buyers know these things just don't quit. The last one was pure function. The next one adds just enough chaos to make it lovable. On number 9, we have the 2010 to 2013 Kia Soul. Most people didn't expect a toaster-shaped Kia to become one of the most reliable used cars under $6,000. But here it is. Beneath the quirky design is a surprisingly bulletproof combo. either a 1.6L or 2.0L engine that doesn't use a turbo, doesn't use direct injection, and runs on a simple timing chain. These powertrains, especially paired with the 4-speed auto or manual, have proven themselves past 150,000 miles with almost no drama. A 2012 Soul still on its original engine and transmission isn't rare, it's typical. Maintenance costs average just $437 a year, and almost every mechanical part is shared with the Kia Forte or Hyundai Accent. Brake pads for $25, used starters for under $150, and a transmission that doesn't fail unless you seriously abuse it. That kind of cost structure matters when you're broke. There are some quirks. Early models had minor electrical gremlins, and base trims can feel cheap at speed, but nothing that compromises its core reliability. On number 8, we have the 2010 to 2013 Mazda III. This car shouldn't still be this solid after a decade of hard use, but it is. The 2.0L and 2.5L MZR engines, built without a timing belt and tuned without stress. It's not rare to find these at 200k miles, still shifting clean and pulling hard. And here's what makes it different from its compact rivals. It doesn't feel like a penalty box. The Mazda III was engineered to drive like something better, and yet it never sacrificed mechanical simplicity. It rides on a platform shared with the Ford Focus, which means parts are dirt cheap and easy to find. You'll pay around $433 a year in maintenance, and that includes real-world stuff like struts, pads, and control arms. Enthusiasts love them, so the aftermarket is flooded with parts that are tougher and often cheaper than stock. Mazda finally fixed its rust problem by this generation. The result? Clean underbodies even after 10 salty winters. It's one of the few compact cars that gives you reliability, personality, and longevity without turning into a science project after 150,000 miles. Up next, a car so small you'd never guess how much life, or luggage, it can hold. On number 7, we have the 2009 to 2013 Honda Fit. This subcompact is literally a survivor. In longevity studies, the Fit ranked number 1 for remaining lifespan among 10-year-old cars, averaging nearly a decade of usable life left. It's normal to find these cars still running perfectly at 200,000 miles. The 1.5L L-Series engine uses a timing chain, sips gas, and rarely needs anything more than routine fluids and filters. Even the automatic holds up well, but the manual transmission is near bulletproof. It costs next to nothing to run, around $390 a year in maintenance, low parts costs, and simple hardware mean minimal risk. The engine is shared with Honda models across the globe, so junkyards and aftermarket shelves are full of whatever you might need. It's also shockingly versatile. With magic seats that flip, fold, and drop flat, it hauls like a wagon in a footprint smaller than a Civic. A few owners complain about cabin noise on highways and thin paint, but for a car this reliable and cheap to run, that's background noise, not a deal breaker. At number 6, we meet the 2009 to 2012 Toyota Avalon, the full-size cruiser that secretly dominates every longevity chart. In IC Car's 250k mile club, a staggering 22% of Avalons cross the $250,000 mark. That's 4 times better than your average sedan. The secret? The silky 3.5L 2GR FE V6, barely ticking over at 2,000 RPM on the highway while making a smooth 268 horsepower. It shares its engine and 6-speed auto with the Camry and Lexus RX, so parts prices stay cheap. Think alternators under $100 and brake pads at every corner shop. Running costs average about $463 a year. Insane for a car with heated leather, dual-zone climate, and a back seat bigger than some living rooms. Many Avalons still roll on original exhausts and suspensions past 150,000 miles, and gentle one-owner cars often list alongside economy hatchbacks, letting broke buyers snag Lexus-level comfort for Corolla-level money. Only real quirk? Rear struts seep eventually. Budget $200 and keep cruising. So what happens when you take that same Toyota DNA, and strip out everything but the engine, the space, and the will to live forever. On number 5, we have the 2010 to 2011 Toyota Camry. This is the car that defines what runs forever actually means. Over 90% of Camrys sold since the 90s are still on the road, and more than 13% crack 250,000 miles. That's not a fluke, that's engineering discipline. The 2.5L 2ARFE engine is a no-nonsense, chain-driven 4-cylinder that's been tuned for smooth, stress-free operation. It's paired with a 6-speed automatic so proven, mechanics barely talk about it because it rarely fails. You'll spend about $380 a year keeping one alive, barely more than oil, filters, and the occasional brake job. Parts are cheap, available everywhere, and often shared with Lexus and RAV4 models. It's a car you can fix with a socket set and a YouTube tab open, and when you're done with it, you'll sell it without trying. High-mile Camrys still pull demand because buyers know the clock hasn't run out. If there's a flaw, it's bland steering and some interior plastics that haven't aged gracefully. But reliability doesn't care what your dashboard looks like. On number 4, we have the 2008 to 2012 Honda Accord. This is one of the most statistically proven survivors on American roads. Over 16% of Accords from this era hit 250,000 miles or more, placing it second only to the Toyota Avalon in longevity. Whether you get the bulletproof 2.4L, K24, or the smoother J35 V6, both engines are known for crossing 300K with nothing more than fluids, filters, and a little respect. The 5-speed automatic is simple, well-matched, and free of chronic issues. Ownership costs stay lean, about $400 a year, and everything from control arms to alternators is cheap and widely available. Junkyards are full of donor cars, and the Accord's Acura TSX overlap means parts interchange is excellent. It's big, safe, spacious, and doesn't punish you for owning it. Even at $180K, there's demand. Buyers know what they're getting into. Quiet reliability on a budget. Paint fade and clear coat peeling hit some models early, especially in Sunbelt states. But that's a cosmetic flaw, not a mechanical one. Just squint and drive another 100K. We've seen how far gasoline can take you. Now let's talk about the car that barely uses any of it in the first place. At number 3, we've got the 2008 to 2013 Toyota Prius, the ultimate dollar-stretching machine. No cheap car milks a gallon of gas or a maintenance dollar like this. Its planetary gear transaxle has just one main moving assembly. No clutches, no belts. And the engine idles barely half the time in traffic. That light workload helps 12.6% of Praia cross 250,000 miles. And cab fleets worldwide don't retire them until after 300K. Regenerative braking saves a fortune too. Front pads that last 100K miles. No starter, no alternator, ever. Real-world maintenance averages just $408 a year, while drivers enjoy 45-50 mpg, no matter what gas costs. Worried about hybrid parts? Don't. Toyota sold over 4 million of this generation, so Riemann batteries, inverters, and even full drivetrains are stacked at hybrid shops for less than a timing belt job on a normal car. Minor flaw? Rare dash screen glitches. Easy 30-minute swap and you're back on the road. You already know what's coming at number 1, but the car right before it might be the reason your neighbor's still driving the same one since 2010. On number 2, we've got the 2009 to 2012 Honda Civic, a car that looks completely normal until you realize it's quietly outliving almost everything around it. Honda's 1.8L engine and 5-speed auto were built with one goal: minimal stress, maximum miles. And it worked. These Civics have a 7.2% chance of hitting 250,000 miles, which is insane when you realize that's over 30 out of every 400 cars, making it past the 250,000 mark. Maintenance? Basically lunch money. RepairPal says it averages just $368 a year. And because Honda sold a bazillion of them, parts like sensors and pumps are dirt cheap and everywhere. Plus, the Civic's chassis is so versatile, It underpins everything from your grandma's sedan to street-tuned Sci models, meaning upgrades and spare parts are endless. It's not just a survivor either. The clever two-tier dash still feels futuristic. Fuel economy hovers at 30-36 mpg, and side airbags were already standard. The only real flaw? Some roof paint might fade. That's it. The engine's still smiling. No wonder clean Civics get snapped up fast, even at 1 to 80k miles. At number 1, it's the 2010 to 2013 Toyota Corolla, the car that basically refuses to die. This generation earned its reputation the old-fashioned way, by surviving everything. J.D. Power crowned it the most dependable compact car, and get this, 90% of Corollas sold in the last decade are still on the road today. Even better, about 7.8% make it past 250,000 miles. That's nearly 40 out of every 500 cars crossing the 250,000 line without breaking a sweat. The magic formula? Mechanical minimalism. A simple chain-driven 1.8L engine. No turbo, no fancy direct injection, just old-school reliability paired with a bulletproof 4-speed auto or 5-speed manual. Maintenance is laughably cheap too. RepairPal says the average annual cost is just $362. And because Toyota sold these things everywhere, parts like pads, sensors, and even full engines are everywhere and dirt cheap. Fuel economy sticks around the low 30s, and even higher mileage examples are still selling for about $5,800, meaning broke buyers score insane value without playing the Craigslist lottery. Sure, the seats might tear early, but hey, fabric doesn't stop you from hitting 300K. Now that we've covered the broke-friendly legends, what if you want comfort and longevity? Our next video reveals the 10 best used luxury sedans that won't bankrupt you after warranty.